Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, WVACRAO.org. And now I would like to turn it over to our presenter.
Good afternoon. My name is Brianna Smith. I'm with New River Community and Technical College. If you'll bear with me just 1 second, I'm going to try to share my screen with you so you can see my presentation. Let's see here. Okay, I believe that's up there. Like I said, my name is Brianna Smith. I am the admissions counselor at New River Community and Technical College. And I just want to talk to you in the time that we have today about enrolling at New River and why you might want to consider coming to college with us and what all we have to offer. So if you're not familiar with New River Community and Technical College, we are the community college that serves sort of the southeastern part of West Virginia. So we serve Fayette, Greenbrier, Mercer, Monroe, Nicholas, Pocahontas, Raleigh, Summers, and Webster counties in West Virginia. We have, well, as you can see on this slide, our service area is sort of highlighted here in green. But we have 4 campuses within our college system, basically. We have our main campus, which is located in Beaver, West Virginia, right outside Beckley. We also have our Mercer County campus in Princeton, West Virginia. We have our our Nicholas County campus in Summersville, West Virginia. And we have our Greenbrier Valley campus located in Lewisburg, West Virginia. In addition to those campuses, we also have our Advanced Technology Center, which is located in Gent, West Virginia. And that is where we house all of our technical programs. Well, most of them. Basically, you can kind of see here, we offer our automotive programs, we offer our welding programs, our electric distribution engineering technology program is offered here, which is known as our line service program. That's a really popular program at our college and one we're well known for. We also offer diesel programs at this location. So pretty much all of our technical programs are offered here at Gent. With the exception, welding you can actually get at our Lewisburg campus. We do have a welding shop there. And of course, our cosmetology, massage therapy, nails and aesthetics programs, those are also located at our Greenbrier Valley campus in Lewisburg. So I want to talk to you about why you might consider choosing New River Community and Technical College among your other options in the area. So for one thing, at New River, we're a community college, so we are a little bit smaller in size compared to a four-year school. Our average class size is about 14 students to 1 faculty member. So with a smaller class size, of course, that's going to have some advantages. You're going to get a lot of, well, for one thing, a lot of interaction with your instructor. Your questions will be answered. Sometimes at larger schools, especially for your gen ed classes, in these, you're in bigger lecture halls, and sometimes you don't always, you're not always able to get your question answered. Maybe in the way you would like to. So a smaller class size allows you a little bit more intimate educational setting where you feel free to ask questions and have an open discussion with your instructor as well as your other classmates. So that's something that is really invaluable when you're a student. In addition to things like smaller class sizes, we offer 60 plus academic programs at New River. We are a community college, so that means that you can get an associate's degree at our college. We have a lot of various associate degrees that you can choose from. We also offer certificate programs that are shorter in nature. Typically, a certificate you can do in 1 year, and an associate's degree you can do in 2 years, typically if you go full time. So if you don't want to go and get a full associate, you can, go a little bit shorter and get a certificate and, be joining the workforce once you're finished. So here's a listing of the programs that we do offer at New River, and this is just some of them. This isn't even everything, but this list is actually alphabetized, but you'll notice here our programs sort of fall in 4 subject matter areas. So we have our technology programs, like I've kind of touched on a little bit previously. So we've got our automotive service technology, we have our diesel technology, or like I mentioned, electric distribution engineering technology, which is our line service program. I get asked about that program quite a bit. It's very popular. This is the program that trains you to be a lineman with the power company. So that's a very rewarding career. It's one of our very popular programs. And students who graduate from this program usually go on to make, really, really excellent salaries within a few years of being in that industry. So definitely something to check out for sure. We have also our cosmetology program is under our technical studies. So in addition to cosmetology, we also offer aesthetics, nail tech, and massage therapy as well. So that's just our technology. We have lots of other programs. Our healthcare programs are also very popular. Our practical nursing program is very popular. We actually just were approved for an LPN to RN program. So that is in the process of being delivered. So we're very excited about that. So once you do finish your LPN program with us, you'll have the opportunity to go on and do your RN with us as well. We have a medical laboratory technician program that is within our healthcare area as well. And that one is something that you might want to consider. Within air service region, I think we're probably I would say we're the only school that offers a program like that. When you go to the doctor, you don't really notice the lab techs, they're hidden away in the lab testing specimens. But that's a really good career that I think sometimes students don't really realize and don't consider a lot because you don't see them a lot when you go to the doctor. But if you have an interest in healthcare and a strong bend toward the sciences like chemistry and biology, that is something you might want to consider. In addition to those programs, we have a medical billing and coding program that is completely online. So that's something, if you're looking to go online and still stay in the healthcare field, that would be something to consider. We also have business and computers programs. We have lots of various business degrees. We have computer science. We actually, in the past probably year, I'd say, added both a certificate and an associate's degree in cybersecurity. Both of those programs are available completely online as well, and they're very popular. We also have social services programs. So as you'll see on here, we have, for example, a criminal justice program. And a social services program as well. Both of these programs, we actually offer what's called 2+2 programs, or we have 2+2 agreements with Concord University for our social work or social services program. and West Virginia State University with their criminal justice program. So what that means is you can get our associate's degree here and transfer those programs onto the respective schools and earn a bachelor's degree in 4 years at their school. So you would do your first 2 years with us, say in social services, and then, for example, you would transfer that onto Concord University and come out with a Bachelor of Science in social work. With our criminal justice program, we actually offer 3 concentrations. So you can actually concentrate in law enforcement, corrections, or forensics, which is very popular. So you can choose a concentration. So lots of great options to study at New River, whether you want to get specific training in an area and go straight to work when you graduate, or if you decide maybe to go on to a 4-year school later on. So speaking of transferring to a 4-year school, this slide kind of sums up the transfer process basically. So if you come to New River and you decide you don't really know what area you want to study, and you decide to just focus on getting your general studies for your first 2 years with us, that's totally fine. In West Virginia now, we have basically a state law that's called the Core Coursework Agreement, and that says that whatever general studies type core course you take at one state school is guaranteed to transfer to another state school. So for example, whatever you take at New River Community and Technical College, that would be a general studies type course. So like your English, your math, maybe like your intro to biology, general chemistry, things like that, that would guarantee to transfer to another state school within West Virginia and vice versa. So you could take some of your basics at New River and transfer them on to, say, WVU, Glenville, Fairmont State, Concord, Bluefield State, any of the state schools, and that would be a great way to save money. Traditionally, community colleges are a little bit less expensive than a 4-year school. That's because, we're smaller. We have smaller class sizes. We don't have dorms. We're a community college that's kind of designed to provide access to education close to home. So if you have to take those basic general ed requirements anyway for a bachelor's degree, it does make a lot of sense to consider taking them at a community college where you would be able to get them a lot cheaper than you would at a 4-year school. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. So speaking of the cost of education, that kind of brings me to my next slide. The slide, says 85% of full-time beginning undergraduate students receive grant aid. So some type of grant at New River, whether it be the West Virginia Higher Education Grant, the Pell Grant, or even the West Virginia Invest Grant. So we all encourage you, and I think every college would as well, to start your FAFSA early as you're able to. Go ahead and just fill that FAFSA out and get it over with. Decide on a couple schools that you think you would like to go to, and just go ahead and put the school code numbers in for all of those. That way you've got it covered. At New River, our school code is 039603, which you'll see here on several different slides later. But that's how we basically get your information. So you do have to fill out your FAFSA at fafsa.gov. And then if you're going to come to New River, you need to go ahead and put that school code in, which is 039603. That's very important. And just a note that when you do that, New River's school code will automatically populate on your FAFSA, and it'll say Beaver, West Virginia. So even if you are attending the Nicholas County campus up in Summersville or the Lewisburg campus, it will always say Beaver, West Virginia, because that's our main campus. So if you see that, you've not made a mistake. That's correct, as long as it says Beaver, West Virginia. So that leads me on to kind of talking about the West Virginia Invest Grant, which is something that I encourage everybody to take a look at and give some consideration to. The West Virginia Invest Grant basically is designed to give access to up to an associate's degree in select areas to students who might not qualify for the Pell Grant. So basically, it's a last dollar in source of funding. So that means that, say you don't qualify for the West Virginia Higher Education Grant and you don't qualify for the Pell Grant, as long as you meet the minimal requirements for the West Virginia Invest Grant, it would provide you with free tuition to go to college as long as you have selected an approved program. So not all of our programs are covered under this, but most of them are. Very few aren't. And I will mention general studies at this point in time is not covered under the West Virginia Invest Grant, but most of our other programs are. Now, we do have some programs that are what we call selected mission programs, where you do have to take a couple prerequisite courses before you get into the actual program. Those classes would not be covered under the Invest Grant, but once you get into the actual program, they would be. So anyway, as you can see here, there are a list of, this is a list of all the requirements for the Invest Grant. And if you think about it, it's really not, it's minimal, really. Most students do qualify. You have to live in West Virginia for at least 1 year immediately before applying. You have to be a graduate of a public, private, or homeschool program, or have successfully passed your GED, basically your equivalency test. You have to have not already earned a college degree, associate level or higher, or attempted 90 credit hours or more of college credit. You have to do your FAFSA. And then you also have to do the West Virginia Invest Grant application separately. So you will need to do both the FAFSA and the West Virginia Invest Grant application. The FAFSA is definitely the bigger one. The Invest Grant application is only a page long. It's very simple. So I encourage you, when you're going to do your FAFSA, go ahead and just do your West Virginia Invest Grant application as well. So if you go to the link at the very top of this slide, www.newriver.edu/West Virginia-invest, that will take you to where actually you can find information about the Invest Grant, and then also there'll be two buttons. You'll see one where you can apply for the FAFSA and one where you can apply to the Invest Grant as well. So definitely check that out, and I would recommend just going ahead and getting it over with while you do your FAFSA. Carrying on here, in addition, you do have to be willing to live in West Virginia for 2 years after you earn your degree or certificate. They do want to make sure, we're retaining talent in our state and adding to our workforce. So you do have to actually make a commitment to live in the state for 2 years after you graduate. Otherwise, the grant basically turns into a loan, and they would expect you to pay it back at that point. But as long as you stay in West Virginia for 2 years after you graduate, you will not have to pay it back. You also have to, of course, meet the minimum admission requirements at an eligible institution, which you would need to do that anyway for enrollment. And you do have to register for at least 6 credit hours. So, a typical college class is about 3 credit hours. So you would be looking at most likely about 2 classes per semester if they were 3 credit hours each. And then in addition to these requirements, you do have to pay for and pass a drug screening before the start of each academic term. And I will say, I would recommend that if you are seeking the West Virginia Invest Grant, to go ahead and try to get this part of it taken care of in a timely manner. The drug screening, basically what will happen is whatever email address that you put on your West the folks with the Invest Grant in Charleston, they will use that email address to communicate with you regarding, you know, getting the grant to you and everything. And so they will give you information via email on approved places to take your drug test. And all of this, it's sort of a process. The results have to be sent back to Charleston, and then, you know, it gets certified, and then they contact their institution. And so it takes a little bit of time. So I would just recommend, if you can, do that drug test sooner rather than later, like as soon as you're able to, and apply as soon as you're able to. That's something you don't want to put off till the last minute, because you just don't want to take any chances with maybe not getting in by that deadline. So again, you know, talking about the FAFSA, please just go ahead as soon as you're ready, or as soon as you're able to, go ahead and do your FAFSA. Make sure that's completed, regardless of what school you choose to go to. It's just so important that you do that early at fafsa.gov or fafsa.ed.gov. And again, New River's school code number is 039603. So make sure you're putting that in. And then also, I've included a couple links here. The first link down here under resource links is sort of the FAFSA webpage with frequently asked questions and general information. But the link below this is a link to New River's Financial Aid Department's page. And this is actually a very detailed listing. It's numbered in order of the steps in their specific financial aid process. So I encourage any student that seriously plans to come to New River to go ahead and check out that link and familiarize yourself with their financial aid process. Another note is that once you turn in your application for admission at New River, and once it's processed, you will be able to go in and set up your My New River student email account. So I would go ahead and just encourage you to go ahead and set that up. You don't have to be registered for classes or anything like that to set it up. As soon as your application's in the system, you can go ahead and set it up. And the reason I say that is because financial aid a lot of times will use that email to communicate with you, especially if we don't have an email address on file, like if you had left it off your application, for example. So you just want to make sure you're not missing any important communication from us. So definitely go ahead and just do that. It's super simple on our website. Under the My New River tab on our homepage, there'll be step-by-step instructions on how to do it there. There'll be a button for first-time users, and it'll tell you how to do it. So I would just encourage you to go ahead and do that so that you are making sure you're not missing any important communication from financial aid. Okay, so that brings me to how do you apply at New River? What's our application process? So basically at New River, you know, we don't have an application fee. Some schools do. We don't. It's always free to apply. And we are what they call an open enrollment institution, basically. We have open door admission. So that means that it doesn't matter what your SAT scores are or ACT scores. It doesn't matter what your high school GPA is. We will accept you regardless. You know, we are here to help you. We don't turn anyone away, really. Basically, the only thing we might do is if say your test scores in a certain area are not quite, you know, if they're not super high, we might place you into a developmental course. And really that serves as like just kind of like a tutoring component that you would take alongside the regular course. So for example, if your math scores on SAT weren't super high, we would go ahead and probably just place you into a developmental math course along with our regular math 101 course. So that developmental course will help you with your regular course and kind of serve as a tutoring and study component. So basically, we just need you to do an application for admission. Go ahead and submit that to us. And you can find it at the link below here, newriver.edu/ready to apply. That'll take you to a page with all of our admissions information, really, and you'll see two green buttons. you will see one button that says online application. If you click on that, that's going to take you to the College Foundation of West Virginia website. You'll have to set up a College Foundation, like a CFWV like profile. And then once you've done that, you can go, it'll take you straight through to New River's application. So you can apply online that way. And some of you high school students, you may have already set up a CFWV account already. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's how you do that. There's also another button right beside that in green that says PDF application. So you can, if you'd rather do it that way, what you can do is just print that off and fill it out by hand, stick it in the mail to us. The campus addresses to whichever campus you want to go to will be on the second page of the application. So just mail it to whichever campus you plan to attend, and we will get it processed and go from there. That's actually also a fillable form PDF. So what you can do is first save that to your computer as a blank copy, then enter your text, just type it in, save it again, and then email it to us at admissions@newriver.edu, and we'll get it that way. So however is easiest for you to do it, we can accept it and we will process it. Basically what's happening right now is we are still working from home. Our campuses are generally closed to the public right now. Pretty much all of our courses are either online or through Zoom right now due to the pandemic, with the exception of some of our more hands-on programs such as welding, line service, cosmetology, things like that. So our offices and departments are being operated remotely. So we're doing a lot of communication through email. So basically just if you can email that to us, or we are checking our mail, so you can go ahead and mail it in, but what we will do is we'll process it and then email you a confirmation email saying that your application has been received, and it's going to contain a link to where you can find the next steps in our enrollment process. So basically that's going to take you to the number two item here, our new student checklist. If you click on this link, that is going to have a listing of what all items at New River we need you to complete for enrollment. And this is basically what it looks like. I've printed off a copy here, but this has everything that you will need to complete in addition to your application. So basically at New River, we will need your official high school transcript once you graduate from high school. It does have to show that you've graduated for it to be official. If for whatever reason, most schools seem to be using either either they'll have the guidance counselor or the Board of Education email us a copy of your official transcript. Either that'll happen, or a lot of schools will use an online transmission service like parchment.com to send your transcript. If for whatever reason you have a sealed copy in an envelope, you can just stick that in a big mailer and mail it to our campus or drop it off. Don't open it, because that actually breaks the seal and makes it considered unofficial. So then you'll unfortunately have to pay for another copy. So just a heads up there. But in addition to your high school transcript, we will need a copy of your test scores if you have them, your SAT or ACT. I know most students now seem to have taken the SAT already or plan to soon. So what you can do is you can actually log onto your collegeboard.org account. And I think there's a button, I want to say it's like around the top right-hand corner, and I think it's black. I want to say it's black, but anyway, it says view my score report. There you can actually open up your score report, and it'll have your name and your score, your overall score, all your sub scores, and everything in detail. You can save that to your computer. And then once you save that, you can email it to us at admissions@newriver.edu. So go ahead, and if you've got those scores already and you can log on and get them, just go ahead and send them to us. We actually don't require an official score from College Board or anything like that. You can just send them yourself. if you don't have the SAT and you don't plan on ever taking it, we can help you with, we can offer you our AccuPlacer placement test free of charge, or we can go off your high school transcript. If we have to, we are kind of using a multi-measures approach to placement testing right now. But it seems like a lot of students already have the SAT under their belt or plan to do it soon. So if you can at all get us a test score like that, SAT or ACT, that would be great. Otherwise, we'll work it out another way. In addition to your test scores and your transcript, we've talked about financial aid, we've talked about the application. The only other thing really that New River would require for admission is we require you to complete our online orientation module, which is just, it's on our website. It's a series of slides that you need to read through, and it will teach you about all the aspects of attending college at New River. At the very end of that, it'll ask you to take a quiz, and you just have to get 7 out of 10 questions right to pass it. Once you have completed that, it's really simple too. It's nothing to freak out about. Once you complete that, you will then be ready to make an appointment to register for your classes. So we will open up registration, for the high schoolers who are going to be attending fall 2021. We'll be opening that up around March. So around that time, you'll want to be thinking about, enrollment and making sure that, we've got all these admissions items completed. So pretty simple. The main thing is get us that application and then go on our website and find our new student checklist and just be working on those items. So application and really your FAFSA as well. FAFSA and West Virginia Invest Grant. Those are some things, 3 crucial things that you'll want to be thinking about between now and then. And so that pretty much wraps me up. So if you have any questions, which we've got some time, I think, to field a few questions. If you have any, I encourage you to go ahead and submit them. But if you think of something later, you are welcome to contact us. Our main number is listed here. That's our main line. And if you just ask to speak to Brianna Smith, that's me. They will get you to me. Again, I'm Brianna Smith. I'm our admissions counselor at New River, one of our admissions counselors. You can also email us at admissions@newriver.edu. And if you have any questions about financial aid, you're welcome to email finaid@newriver.edu, and they will be happy to help you as well. But we do hope you will give us some thought. We have a lot of really cool programs at New River, and we're just a big family, and our students are very special to us. And we hope you will check us out. Feel free to explore our website, newriver.edu, and like I said, I'll be happy to answer any questions if you think of them later. And if you want to email me personally, actually my email is bsmith@newriver.edu. So please feel free to reach out. So, thank you all for listening. And that was actually the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions now, feel free to ask me.
All right. Thank you, Brianna. You did such a good job.
Thank you.
Guys. I will go ahead and finish out with some closing remarks here for you. So again, thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at WVACRAO.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording on that same website as well. So thank you.
Thank you.